Hello and welcome to a Pilates class all about balance. For today's class you'll need a block or a step, something that you can step up onto safely and feel balanced. So grab your stuff, and whilst you're getting ready, please hit that subscribe button and we'll get started with our ankle warm-up. Bringing your feet into your parallel position, we're going to start to roll the ankles in and out a little. Be careful if you've got a history of ankle injuries, don't feel like you have to overdo this. We're just trying to warm up the muscles that support the ankles there. Now, as you go, we want to be careful not to overpronate, and by that I mean overly rounding in and rolling in. So you want to try and keep your arches intact. You should be able to fit fingertips underneath your arches. I often use the visualization of that blueberry hiding under the arch, and we don't want to squash it. So taking a little bit more work onto one side and rolling that one a little bit, more load through the joint. And then over to the other side, of course, as well. So your gentle rolls, keeping your arches intact, lovely. And then we're just going to find a one leg. We are all about balancing. Feel free to hold on to something and start to circle through the ankle there. Change directions, or if you meet a nasty clunk or a clonk and you want to change, feel free to change whenever you need to. And then we'll do the other leg as well. So maybe a fingertip on the wall or a piece of furniture to help you, or maybe you'll find hands free today. That's it, make sure you've done both directions, and then bringing the feet back to that parallel position, ready for some knee bending. So we'll take hands on hips to get them out of the way. We're going to soften the knees. Check that the knees are tracking forwards in line with the toes, and then send the sit bones back and the knees forwards. As the bum goes back and the sit bones lengthen, we've got this hinge forward through the upper body, so we've got head and shoulders counterbalanced by bottom. Push down through the feet nice and evenly as you lift through the crown. So soften knees, lengthen sit bones back, bend knees forwards, and rise. So as you're squatting down, your ankles need to bend, your knees need to bend, and your hips need to bend nice and deep. And then you're going to push up nice and tall. So we're starting to get a little bit of flexion into ankles, knees, and hips, and warming up through the legs. Good, rise through the crown. Find that length through the sit bones, that push down through the feet, rise through the crown. Find that connection with your feet and the mat. So feel the big toes, feel the four smaller toes, feel the balls of the feet, feel the heels of the feet. That's it, we're going to take these up to our tiptoe now. So into your squat and straight up to a tiptoe to find balance. Lower the heels into squats. Back up to find tiptoe. Good, so I'm going to inhale down to the squat. And I'm going to exhale up to the tiptoe. Inhale down to the squats. Exhale up to the tiptoe. Inhale into the squats. Exhale into the tiptoe, lovely. Try and keep that length from the tailbone to the crown of the head, so we're not getting too much rounded arching of the back. That's it. Inhale into the squats. Exhale into the tiptoe. Let's go for 3 more. Inhale. And exhale. You've got 2 more to finish. And coming safely back to 2 feet. Starting now, you can hold on to something to swing your leg forwards and backwards. Now, as you start to swing your leg, we want to do this with a bit more control. So start thinking about drawing back through the heel, squeezing into the glute. So you draw back with strength. Try and get your glute to activate. And if that's going quite well, start to kick a bit higher so you get a bit of a hamstring stretch on the way forwards. Good. And a few more here. And then we're just going to swap legs. So when you're ready, changing your legs, and start with a swing. And make that a bit more technical by drawing the heel back. So you're flexing the foot, squeezing into the glute to draw back with the heel. And you're more than welcome to hold on. Start to kick a little bit higher as you take your toe forward and flex the heel back. That's it. So we're getting this dynamic hamstring stretch to the front and this glute activation on the draw back. 3, 2, and 1. Wonderful. Bring that back down to the mat and just give it a pedal out through your legs. Okay, so grab your block now, or your step, whatever you're using, and we're going to pop it just somewhere in front of us so that we can have a nice step up. So when you're ready, plant your toes, or you've got the length of your foot on the block. You want to get your weight over the block first and think about pushing down into it. Now, as you press down into the block, we're going to squeeze the glute at the top of the leg so that we can then come up to a knee raise. So you're pushing down through the block and you're really trying to squeeze into this hip and this glute for your pelvic stability, and then step back down. So just keep changing legs there. Press down, squeeze the glute. Okay, so far we've got 3 things to do. We've got to get our weight over the block, press down through it, and squeeze the glute. Yeah, so 3 things. Get over it, push down, squeeze the hip and the glute. Nice and simple. Let's go for 2 more. Get the weight over, push down, squeeze the glute. Lovely. Feel free to take a little wobble if you need a little wobble. This is a really nice one to do in front of a mirror as well. So if you have got a mirror, really nice option to do it in front of a mirror. We're going to see if we can check in with our hips. So fingertips on hip bones, so you know exactly where they are. You want them to remain at the same height rather than one dipping to the side. So step on, weight over the block, push down through it, squeeze your glute, and hopefully your hips are still the same height. And again, that's why your mirror comes in handy, or your fingertips for a little bit of feedback. Weight over the block, press down through it, squeeze the glute to your knee raise balance. Lovely, just 2 more like that. Focusing on those 4 things now. We've got weight over the block, we're pushing down through it, we're squeezing the glute at the top of the leg, and we're looking for neutral hips. Next thing we're going to think about is our core engagement. So this is this idea of drawing in through the B line that we call this line that runs from hip to hip. So bikini line or belt line. So left hip to right hip, it's quite low down. That's the area that you're going to start to draw in towards your gut. So it's not up at your belly button, it's lower down. You want to really draw in there, or imagine you're getting your left and your right hip bone to kind of squeeze towards the middle of your tummy there. Okay, so that's your core activation. Now let's add that onto the list of things to think of. Weight over the block, press down through it, squeeze the glute, level through the hips, and draw your B-line in, or draw your hips towards the center of your tummy. And then have a go on the other side. So get your weight over the block, press down through it, squeeze the glute, level hips, B-line or core activation on. Amazing. Let's do that a few more times. Weight over the block, push down through it, squeeze through the glute, level hips, B-line engaged. And again, press down. That's it, squeeze the glute, find the level hips, drawing through the B-line. Now that should allow you to do whatever you want to do with your upper body and your arms, because your legs, your hips, your core are doing all the balance work. Should be able to chill out a little bit through the shoulders. So let's see if we can get an arm raise here as well. This is going to just test your core activation a bit more. So weight over the block, push down through it, squeeze through the glutes, level hips, B-line engaged. Going to see if you can take your hands up overhead and then gently circle them back down towards your hips. Let's do 3 more circles. So we're still pushing down through the block, we're still squeezing our glute, we're still drawing in through the B-line. And we've got a couple more circles here. Really, really well done. Just testing that core stability now, our ability to keep that spine in the center of our posture. Lovely. And stepping back down. Let's have a go at that on the other side. Weight over the block, push down through it, squeeze into the glute, level hips, B-line. Lovely. So starting to take your arm circles when you're ready. Drawing in strong through the center, squeezing through the glutes still. And your lower body and your tummy will be working really hard, and your shoulders will hopefully be able to relax. We don't need to build tension in shoulders. Let's just go for 1 more circle. And then step back down off the block. Really well done. I'm just going to make that a little bit tougher by adding in a directional change. So this time, you're behind your block, but you're also going to step to one side. Okay, so you're behind the block, but you've stepped to the side. And I'm going to turn as if I'm turning in towards the middle of my mat. Now my near side foot, I'm going to put onto the block. So I'm now going to travel at a 90-degree angle. So I'm getting my weight over the block, push down through it, squeezing the glute to help me twist into my postural balance. That's it. So I've got my B-line drawing in, and then I'm going to go for another arm circle. Really nice. And I'm stepping back off the block to that same position. Let's go again. Take that near side foot, turn it to the front of your step. Start to get your weight over it before you squeeze into the glute to turn the hips. Lovely. Find hips level and drawing in through that beeline. Let's take the arms up again. We're going to stay here for a few more circles. So start circling the arms up and around, up and around. Good. Let's go for 2 more here. Still pushing through the block, still squeezing through the glute. Lovely. Still engaging through that core. And then final circle as we come back to step off the block. Really nicely done. Let's go again. Turn your near side foot towards the block and squeeze the glutes as you twist. Beautiful, and arms up. Hold those arms up this time. Let's take one arm down for a float, really working into the beeline now. So we're taking weight away from the midline. So we're having to work that little bit harder to keep the spine centered. Lovely, couple more here. Still squeezing through the glutes, still drawing in through the core. Last movement and through the arm. And then stepping back off your block when you're ready. Let's take this to the other side. So again, we started just behind the block and we took a step to the side. We then turn in to face the center of the mat, and you take your near side foot onto the step or the block. Get your weight over it. Start to twist through the hips. That's it, engaging the glute, level through the hips, core engaged. We're just going to take a gentle arm circle here, and then we're going to step back off the block. Let's go for a few more arm circles this time. So weight over the block, push down, squeezing into that glute there, finding your balance, level hips, core engaged. 4 arm circles, please. Let's go. So just drawing nicely in through the beeline, or thinking about drawing your left hip and your right hip towards the middle of your tummy. That's it. 1 more circle here, and then stepping back off your block. Amazing. Let's take our final step up. So taking the weight over the block, pressing down through it, squeezing the glute to twist. Level hips, check. Core on, check. Arms up nice and high, and just gently taking one arm away this time. That's it. And the other arm. And 1 more on each side. Gorgeous, gorgeous work. We're going to bring both arms gently back down by our sides and come to step off our block. Moving on, we're going to have a go at some lunge type movements. Now, if lunges aren't great for your knees, you can just do these as steps. That's absolutely fine. You'll still get the balance effect. So we're going to have the block somewhere in the middle of the mat here, and we're going to come to stand on it. Let's go left foot on the block to start with. Okay, now right leg will be on the mat, so we need to lift that right leg off the mat so that we've got the level hips. We're going to take a step forwards with the right leg, so soften that left knee to allow you to take that step forwards. Okay, square your hips towards the front of the mat. Your left heel's now lifted off the mat, ready for a lunge. So gently lunging, bending both knees, and then stepping back onto the block. Make sure you've got that balance there. That's it, and the right leg is elevated. So we're going to take right leg back behind us this time. So when you're ready, step or lunge. So we're going to lift that back heel, that right heel, and gently soften the knees. Good, back up to balance on the block. We're going to take that side step, so right side step into the right side lunge. Step it back to the center. We go again. So big forward step, left heel is lifted, square the hips before you bend both your knees. Step back to balance. It's that stepping back to balance that we want to work on. We're going to go back behind us, right heel raised, hips squared. Lunge optional, and then you're coming back to your balance. Right side step, shift the hips over the right leg as the right knee bends, and then step back to balance. So again, forward lunge, square the hips, lunge optional, step back to find your balance. Reverse lunge, right heel lifts, and then we come back to balance. And finally over to the right side. Let's take that right side lunge and back to balance. Wonderful. We're just going to swap legs now. So come to take a step off, right foot onto the block, left foot just gently elevates. Good. Left step forwards, square those hips. Lunging optional, and see if you can come back to balance on that right foot. Reverse lunge, left heel lifts, hips square. Lovely, back up to balance. And you're going to take your left side step, lunge over to the left side and back to centre. So forwards, lunge, keeping the hips square, back to balance. And reverse, lunge, back to balance. Left side step, hips come over the left leg as you lunge and back to balance. Good, forward lunge. Lunge optional, can just take a big forward step. Back to balance. Reverse lunge, square the hips. Back to balance. And left side step. Take the weight nicely over that left leg. And back to balance. Wonderful, bring yourself off that block and very, very well done on some great balancing today. I hope to see you on the next video.